In our last couple episodes of the Keep Growing podcast, we looked at garden planning. In this episode, we're going to change things up because we just had a special week in our industry. It was Green Career Week, an event sponsored by Seed Your Future. Here at Bob's, I head up our educational outreach. I used to be a teacher after all. For me, a big part of that is hosting facility tours, speaking events, and workshops, and content like this podcast. This time of year, while we're in the peak of the growing season, I host a number of tours each week. At the time of recording this, I hosted a high school tour on Thursday, a virtual tour via Zoom for the University of Illinois on Friday, and tomorrow, I have 40 elementary students coming for a tour. It's a ton of extra work given the busyness of the season, but the benefits for students can't be understated. For example, at the high school level, many classes that come for tours have greenhouses at their schools. Through buying our surplus seedlings at discounted wholesale rates, and then having spring plant sales, we've helped many high school programs become self-sustaining. It also gives students a microcosm of our industry, from transplanting and growing the seedlings to selling the finished product. Thanks to recent events, home gardening has seen a resurgence, and likewise interest in the horticulture industry. Seed Your Future is spearheading that effort. A few months ago, I had the chance to speak with the director of Seed Your Future, so let's take a listen. Back in July, during Cultivate, I went to a presentation on Seed Your Future. It is an industry organization that works to promote green collar careers to middle school and high school students, because that's an area that's somewhat underserved in schools. I know from when I was in school in this area, everyone was promoting medical field careers and going into teaching. And I chose the latter. And I have a degree in education. I taught for a couple years. It just wasn't for me. And a lot of you know the rest of the story. I kind of Forrest Gump my way into my career here at Bob's Market. And I've been here now for almost 15 years at this point. But Seed Your Future kind of hits the perfect intersection for me because it's education and horticulture. So shortly after Cultivate, I contacted the director of Seed Your Future, Jasmine Albaran, and we sat down for a Zoom meeting where she could kind of pick my brain as sort of from the perspective of an educator that works in our industry. And also I could kind of pick her brain because I, at the time, was working on redesigning the educational outreach section of our website. Now, I got permission to share some clips from our meeting. It's going to seem kind of disjointed and kind of edited together because, well, that's just the way it is. But let's hear from Jasmine about Seed Your Future and what they're doing.
As I mentioned in my presentation, I am not from the industry, and it has just been so interesting learning. You know, every time I saw when I saw a plant, I never thought twice, where did it come from? How long did it take it to grow? Nothing. And then when I first started it in May last year, I went to my first Cultivate. I was just blown away at how complex this industry is, how diverse it can be, how international it is. So that has really been a big motivator for me to make sure that young people know all of those things, because most people think of the farmer, the landscaper, and the person cutting your grass. Like, that's what people think of horticulture. and don't realize, one, the amount of technology that's in the industry, the vast opportunities within the industry, and that you can make money as well. So we're trying to help inform the masses of all of that, all of the above. I think that's the fun part, right? Seeing people just light up when they realize this is a business. Mm-hmm. This is full of different careers and different opportunities. And that's, again, another thing that we always want to highlight. We get so many people that just think of horticulture as a hobby, right? It's just gardening. It's just something you do for fun. I'm just playing with plants. But there are so many wonderful careers that you can have a part of this industry. And I'll tell you, in my last year, I cannot believe, well, I can now, how satisfied people are in these different careers and how much they love what they do and how much they want to share what they know with others. The first month I was here, it was like, okay, these people are just nice because I'm new, right? They're being nice. And then 3 months later, everyone is just as chipper and nice. Yeah. And then 6 months and then 10 months, I'm like, these are some of the most happiest people I have ever met. And it goes to, you're working with all these beautiful products. How can you not be so happy, right? It's hard work. It's year-round work. But I tell people, it's just something about being in nature and working with nature. And you get to see that you're bringing these things to life, these beautiful plants. It really does impact our physical, mental, and emotional health. So again, that's another motivating factor to try to get as many students into this industry, because I know they will be happy, right, for the rest of their life. I've met many people that said, I found horticulture by accident. I found it as a second career. You know, I found it in my 40s and 50s. So we can get all these career options in front of students sooner than later, so they can realize, oh, wow, I love plants and I can work with plants and make a living. Well, that would just be great to be able to get. And knowing that the horticulture industry needs all of those students, especially as folks are set to retire, how can we get them, the younger generation, learning from them before they retire and soak up all that amazing knowledge?
Yeah. Yeah, that was something for me. I mean, I went to high school right here in Mason. So 2-minute drive from my office is the high school that I went to. And it's like, I didn't know this existed as an option.
I know.
And really, even to branch off of that, with the career track that I sort of picked, because at the time at my high school, you had to kind of pick your career path and then take all the courses that went along with it. Mm-hmm. And then I ended up teaching at the Career Center in our county, where they had machine shop and welding and all this stuff that I didn't even know was an option. And right. I'm like, what? Why didn't I know about this?
I know. I think, when we're in school, you hear be a teacher, a doctor, a lawyer, those, kind of ones that everyone knows, but no one says go into horticulture. No one says go work in nature. So that's something that we're hoping to change by reaching as many teachers as we can across the country to say, one, we are here developing these tools for you to implement as you're having conversations with students about workforce development, right? We know teachers are pressed for time, strapped for resources, and it is expensive to put these things together. So our hope and idea is we will create resources for industry and teachers to use them freely to educate that next generation of potential employees coming into the industry. Another thing that I really want to work on as well is within our industry, we do a really great job about talking about, be in nature, be with plants, this is how you grow them, this is how you do it, but it stops there. We really got to start talking about, and you can work in this industry and you can be in IT in this industry. You can be in marketing and HR, accounting, the plant production side, but also those admin jobs. Like you said, you were 2 minutes away from there and had no idea when it was there, let alone the variety of careers that they had. So that's also something I'm trying to do when I'm out talking to folks.
So again, I want to thank Jasmine for letting me share this information. And once again, it's Seed Your Future, and their website is seedyourfuture.org. And I definitely recommend going over and checking out their website. No matter whether you're a teacher, a parent, or a student, because they have just a wealth of information over there. But especially if you're a parent that thinks that, your child might be interested in a career in the horticulture industry, or if you're a student that's interested. Because a really neat tool that they have on their website is a career finder tool. So they have a list of 150 different jobs in our industry with descriptions, videos, and then it also takes it a step further of matching you up with universities and colleges that carry those programs. So if you really want to find a career in the horticulture industry, that is an excellent place to start. So again, that is seedyourfuture.org. Thanks again for your support of the Keep Growing podcast. As always, you can learn more over on our website at bobsmarket.com/keepgrowing. Feel free to send your own gardening questions to keepgrowing@bobsmarket.com. It might just end up in an episode. Until next time, keep growing. Copyright 2023, Bob's Market and Greenhouses, Incorporated.